Hi, I'm Rachel Redeemed, and today we're going to be taking a look at some of the things that go on behind the scenes at Torch Trust. Let's go.
Braille with Torch Trust.
Are you Paul?
Oh, hi, yes.
I'm Rachel.
Hello, Rachel. Nice to see you.
We're next to a massive machine. What does it do?
This is our Braille embosser, big Braille embosser. We make books and magazines on for our clients and our guests.
Quite a bit of kit.
It is quite a bit of kit, yes. Handmade by a guy in Belgium.
This is huge.
Yeah, and this one's part used as well. This is about a quarter gone. There's about 3/4 left. Starts off 3.5 kilometres long, kind of thing, 3.7 in actual fact. It's 310 wide, it's 150 gram on the paper to hold the dots when it embosses.
So how do we go from having the idea of being able to read Braille with my fingers and being able to have a finished product?
Well, there's a process that goes through a transcription process. So we get the book, we transcribe it is what we call it, and that takes from the words, putting it to dots. And then it comes through this machine after I press a clever little button on the computer. And this machine fires up, pushes it through. It's an interpoint embosser, so it embosses on both sides of the paper at the same time. So the interpoint is it does through the dots on one side to the other side. So they're slightly offset all the way. 4 sets of pins, as they're called on this machine.
Nifty.
Yes, yeah, very clever. It's all done with magnets. The biggest problem with embossing is to stop the pins making a dot. That's where the magnets come in. So it's stopping the pins making a dot. The ones that remain give us the Braille.
I know Braille is dots on paper.
Yes.
What do I need to know about it?
Well, for yourself, this little sheet, so I can show you. It's made up of 6 dots. We call a cell, and the 6 dots make different patterns, and that's how we get our different letters. Numbers are A to J, so 1 to 0, and they've got a little symbol that we have in front of that to denote that it's a number rather than a letter. But yeah, we also have little contractions, so the word not and are just a pattern rather than 3 different words to keep things short, and you can feel some Braille on there as well.
Cool. I feel my fingers don't feel very sensitive to pick it up.
No, absolutely. You'll find, because we're sighted and we don't use the ends of our fingers for much, they are a bit dead to it.
How long would it take someone like me to learn how to read this?
I would say 3 years to learn. For somebody like yourself and me, probably do it in about 5 years.
Different languages?
Different languages, absolutely. So we do mainly English here, but we do also other languages as well. So we do a lot of the Indian languages, and there's a lot of those, but we also do a lot of African languages as well. Chichewan, which is a Malawi dialect, because we have a sister charity in Malawi as well, also called Torch Trust, so we do a bit in Chichewan as well.
How do you go from the idea of having a finished book in Braille to holding it in your hands?
Yeah, well, we get files from publishers and from authors. They're sent to us, and then we transcribe them. So we have some clever programs that have been designed by some of our IT guys. They put the words through that, and it transfers them to dots, or through a clever process. But yeah, once I've got that, it comes through to my computer on a production database. I click the magic button, and it sends it through this machine and embosses it.
How do you decide how it kind of looks as a finished product?
Well, yeah, the size of the book, of course, depends a lot on that. We can do things magazine style if it's quite small. So we can do that, basically a magazine stitched in the middle and folded over. If it's thicker, let's take the Bible for example, 45 volumes generally. So, you can't do that as a magazine. So we do that as a series of books. We bind things slightly differently depending on how thick they are as well.
How would you make decisions on how big or small the finished product is, or how big or small the text is?
So the text is always the same size, so you don't change the size of the Braille. That's always the same. However, some embossers will have a slightly smaller dot than this one has quite a big dot.
Can we see it in action?
Yeah, of course we can. Yeah, let me just close it down and we'll get it started.
It's a bit noisy.
It is very noisy, yeah. So there's a lot going on in there. It's putting all the dots onto the paper and also splitting them off. It's just having a little practice run. So the first bit comes through. What we'll see coming through now is the prayer diary. So you'll see all the dots. This is a magazine that we're doing now. It's about 4 or 5 pages long. You'll see this come out. Puts them out in order. Of course, we have to set the process up of the magazine when we send it to. Actually prints it or embosses everything sideways, but that's a whole other complicated story that we probably don't need to get into. And that should be the last one of that. And that is a prayer diary that's just been embossed. So now, if I give you that, that is a prayer diary.
Hot off the press.
Hot off the press indeed, though this doesn't get very hot. To be fair.
What happens now?
So now we've got this bit, we stitch it together. It's basically staple it, and we do that on this machine over here.
Cool. Lead the way. I'm under the impression we're doing some binding. I'm getting stitching vibes from like the sense that it looks like a sewing machine. There's some thread here, I'm guessing?
So basically it is a big stapler, is what it is. We can stitch up to probably about 30 pages of this together, so it is quite a strong machine. If you want to have a sit down, I'll show you exactly how it works. This thread, as you called it, is actually stitching wire. It's a 0.5 millimetre thick stainless steel, just to give you the details. But yeah, if I turn the machine on, like that, and then the prayer diary that we just embossed, we fold it in half, and then it's very simply, you put it on here. This is where the staple comes out. If you press the pedal on your right, there you go.
There we go.
And then move it along and do the same again. There you go. And there we have 2 staples in the magazine. Prayer diary is now complete.
So I'm holding a stitched and bound prayer diary in Braille. Why is it so important for Christians to have access to Braille?
You know, a blind Christian is as equally as important as anybody else in a church setting or in Christian life. One thing we've found throughout the years of Torch is that blind people want to be as involved in church and as involved in their Christian life as anybody else. And the problem that they have most of the time is not being able to get a prayer diary, Bible reading notes, a Bible in Braille so that they can be an active member of a church. So we have people who have the Braille, who lead a church, who preach in church, and of course they need a Bible to be able to read. So it's so important for us to be able to do the Braille, the prayer diaries as you're holding there, Bible reading notes that we do, of course the Bible, books as well, study books, as well as all other kinds of books as well that people want to read. We even do a thesaurus in Braille, Christian thesaurus as well in Braille, so people can study the Bible like everybody else can. You know, so it's so important for us to continue to do the Braille and keep doing the Braille, and we know people value it so much.
Paul, thank you so much for taking me through all this. It's incredible. I had no idea how much went into making something like this accessible to folks.
Well, it's been my pleasure to show you, Rachel. I suppose I should get back to work now.
I'll try and learn some Braille.